So here we are, yet another craft and chill. I did not finish the game in time to post it for the game jam. I will be finishing it at some point in the future because I found it really fun, especially when I revised the story that I realized wasn't going to quite work out the way I was intending for the challenge. But due to that, I realized I could instead just make it more my style, more fun, and really dorky, but it would take a lot more effort, so I'm going to add my own music compositions and some more art and some more interesting options. Yeah, this is like an old misfit. The company was bought by freaking Fossil, and they basically dissolved it. Old fitness tracker thing. Anyway, let me get my yarn that I'm going to be working with. I'm going to be working with this, I believe it's a 5.5mm crochet hook, and I like size I US, but the yarn's behind me, so be right back. And yes, I do have this little bit here that was making it so that I knew this was center, so I could add on to when I get closer to the end and ply that into the next ball. But I'm going to work outside in here. Let's see. I'm thinking that this might be a bit big for my yarn ball. Yeah, this isn't going to quite work out that way. So, let's see. This way, maybe? Have to flip it. Let me get the already extant garment that I am basically duplicating, because I'm going to be rewriting the pattern if there's any changes that need to be made. And I will be entering those changes on my laptop, which I have on the other side over here. So Okay. The dock is up. The glow-in-the-dark shawl is in my hands. Starting center of the circle here. This part. Very center here. Cool thing is, this entire thing is chain, slip stitch, and treble crochet. Well, it's more like a double treble. And that is because I kind of, well, other than this here, which is treble, I kind of realized I wanted a nice, open, flowy spiderweb to work with that would be glow in the dark. Well, looks like Stream Elements was a little bit confused, but it's got the right idea now, it seems. So let me refresh the page. This one. I'm going to the manager here. See how things are. Okay, so yeah. I don't currently have a way for you to subscribe on Twitch, so if you are trying to get the rewards for the Apple TV Plus for 3 months for free, if you don't have Apple TV Plus already, I would suggest find an awesome other streamer, like maybe Pirate Software whenever they're on, or LM Show if you're into, let's see, 3D printing, or even Barnacle Nerdgasm if you're into that stuff. He is not the most regular, but he's been dealing with a lot of like chronic pain, so poor guy. But yeah, really awesome channels exist. Dr. Gluon is probably on stream right now. Another one that's good. But yeah, if that's what you're up for, go to an awesome streamer channel or an independent streamer that you know that has gotten the subscribe thing, because, well, support peeps and get the Apple TV Plus thing. If you don't already have Apple TV Plus, probably a cool thing to do. Other than that, going in here, just trying to trap this in the stitch that I'm making. So that goes down there. I'm making 9 of these. Need to do 4, so crochet up 4. What is the No, computer, I am not setting up what you want me to set up because I don't need that. When your computer is trying to push you into doing things, it's like it's become like a what's it? OneDrive dealer now. I mean, it's pushing something that I do not need nor do I want. So, annoyance. Just double crochet until done with the treble crochet, then you chain one, and then you do another treble crochet into the original loop area that you made with a few chains and just turned into a ring. I think I did 5. I turned it into a ring with a slip stitch and then chained 4. It was either 4 or 5. Hold on. So, the first circle of the spider web, the first round of the spider web. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the only time where you are working in a round. So, after the chain stitch there, you go into this one. Now, your usual, if you were to do this in the round, will be chain 5. Yeah, it's one more round of chain 5. Like, one more round, I think, is what I originally did. Yeah, one more. So we did this circle. We have to do the one right above it now. So it's chain 5, and then chain 3 about 4 times. You were here. Well, now you're going to go into the top of the next stitch. It doesn't matter if you flipped it or not. That is irrelevant because it's not going to really shift much. This is just getting a bit difficult. So let's move that out of the way. Now, chain 3. 1, 2, 3, wrap 4 times. Into the top of the next stitch. chain 3, wrap 4, next stitch, chain 3, 4, I'm going to change this. Instead of it being chain 3, wrap 4, I'm going to chain 3 and wrap 3. Okay, so it's going to be, I frog back until I've got the original 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to be 4. Okay, so 7. 1, 2, 3 into the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So wrap 3. Continue on into the next, like, trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 1, 2, 3. The next trebles. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 3 times in 1, 2, 3, 4. And 3, wrap 3, in stitch up, 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 3, wrap 3, in, and yeah, chain a bit more. One, 2, 3. Wrapping 3 into this one here. 1, 2, and 3. Wrap 3. And we are in the last stitch before the start of the row. Chain 3. 1, 2, then go and slip stitch into the top of the one that would have been. So now chain 4 and then chain 5. So 3, you are picking a direction and going into that particular stitch that right there. Because your spider is going around the neck area to prevent it being like it's what getting torn up. Now, chain 5. Double treble into next stitch. Chain 5. Double treble into the next stitch. Chain 5. Double treble into next stitch. Come on. Sorry about that. Chain 5. Double treble into your next stitch. Five. Double treble into next stitch. And 5. Double treble into the next stitch. Chain 5. Double treble into the next stitch. Now, you chain 4 plus 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is your turning double treble, and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the first chain over of this section. Then you do your double treble into the stitch that you just did not too long ago. So instead of into this last one, you go to this one. So you're going back, and you're going to be working basically in a very, very curved row now. Your spider web will look messy until it gets the weight to straighten itself out, or until you block it. I would suggest not blocking it if you don't really have the time or space. It's not too necessary. If it ends up really heavy, it's going to block itself. This is wool, so I'm not really going to be putting it through a washing cycle, but the glow-in-the-dark one is polyester, so I've thrown it in the washer and dryer many a time. Depending on your particular materials, it can be very forgiving. Accidentally grabbed a project with the crochet. The project. Get off of. Okay. So, Spiderweb shawl ends up quite long. It's more than my wingspan. And For me, this being at the very center is great. I can wrap it around a couple of times. You can basically throw it as a Halloween decoration. I can put it on a wall and have it be a glow-in-the-dark glow-in-the-dark art piece. It's just fun. But trying to get it so that there are more of these out there in the world. Because they're fun and they're easy, and honestly, who doesn't like spiderwebs? Especially if it's, you know, one you made. And let's see, 1, 2, 3. The differences that are going to be between these is, for me, material that I'm working with is very different between the two. This one, unfortunately, will not glow in the dark. But I spun it by hand, so I am the spider that spun my web. And I am... yeah, it's not 5, it's 7. I did the 7 here. I forgot to do it here. It's supposed to be 7. Okay. So it goes 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. It's a progressive thing. And then when you get to a point where you can easily put your elbow through, then you basically, instead of continuing and adding an increment of 2 in each chain section as you go along, at each stitch you do a V-stitch of the double treble with 1 in between. And so you keep the last count of chains in between the ones that you've already gotten to the point where that elbow of yours can go through it, and it basically is a fractal from then on. When you get to that stitch count again, incrementing by 2, starting at 1 each V-stitch, which the very center section here was a V-stitch section, but I had an odd number, and then I increased by 2, by 2, and then it's going to be by 2 yet again. And because of that, you end up with a very simple fractal that ends up really pretty. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Two, 3, 4, 6, 7, because I will forget and go back to 5 if I don't do the count correct. If you ever think you're like too smart to count, you're going to mess up the count. Like, invariably it will be messed up in some place, and you will have to frog back potentially quite some time of work. And no one wants that. No one has time for that. So this is an easy project that if you mess up the count, just make up for it the next round or the next row, because seriously, you'd think a spider in nature is going to care that the count isn't perfect? No. Serve life. Okay. just did 5 again. In fact, on the glow-in-the-dark shawl, there's a point where I forgot to do the V-stitch in an area and kept the same count on either side of that point. And so the next 2 rows that I was going from that I did the V-stitch, instead of doing the V-stitch with 1, I did 2, and then the one after that was 4, so that the one after that would be a 5 chain row, and the one after that 7. You basically work with what you got. I mean, spiders have to make do with certain challenges to their spaces. I think we can do the same without too much trouble. I just like having the foundation nice. Maybe 4. Stitch. Okay, so that was another row. Chain 4 plus 9. 1, 2, 3, 4 for your turning chain, and 9 because the previous chain section was 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Two, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3 times into the next stitch. Four, 6, 7, 8, 9. Eight, 9. 8, 9. Because I didn't pull. Oh, the strands. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We are at 8. Oops, that's wrong. Problem with getting super glue on your fingers right under your nail. It's like very irritating. Anyway, yeah. So we just did the 9 row. The chain is going to be 11 because incrementing by 2. Starting with the very first one being 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So next is 11. So the turning chain of 4 and chain 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Pop, pop, pop. Into chain. Well, not into chain, into previous row stitch. There, not the very last one, but the one before, so that you keep having this, the incrementing from here, up section. This right here is your neck. So, then here's the other side. So, technically it's a giant V. If you think of it that way, and you're just going around and turning it into a circle. Well, into a roundy one. Or it could be a, in this case, a very autumnal Mrs. Pac-Man. Going nom nom to any, like, nom. Dessert. Food. Okay, I don't have any ghost looking things that I can have it jump on. Yeah. Oh. Little Girl Scout cookie thingy. No. Okay. It's yeah. We continue on. 11. 3 wrapped. And another 1, 2, 3, 4 is the stitch, and 11 chain. So 5. We have the spiderweb starting to take effect. I am going to test size of a certain section just to make sure I haven't made it too big just yet. So 11 seems to be just right for me to use to put my elbow through, so I can wrap it around and wear it as a kind of short sleeve vest, which I have done. It is fun, it is comfortable, at least the other one. This is going to be warmer. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. Which means the next round or row is going to be an increase row with the V-stitches instead of just, you know, the regular. So the sections in between the V-stitches are going to also have 11 stitches, like 11 chain, instead of a 1 or 3, 5, 7, 9. And I'll show you what I do when I make a mistake. And I'm probably going to try making that mistake near the center. We are at the end of this one, so not up before. Chain 4. Now you have to decide whether you want the outside edges to flare out more or keep them the same and have just the inside flare. I am actually going to do things the opposite of the way I did them with my glow-in-the-dark version. I'll be right back with that. So, the glow-in-the-dark version. When it came time to do the increases, I did not, in fact, increase on the edge. But this time I will. As you can see, that this ladder remains the same, even though there are increases below, like right here and right here. So, increases do exist. Yeah, so the increases were not on the outer edge. I'm going to do that this time, so there will be increases on the outer edge. We'll make it probably even more around. So, that means we've done the chain up 4 as your turning chain. We're going to do 1, then we are going to 3 times and go back into the stitch that you came out of for the chain 4. Means this is going to be even more roundy. Instead of it just being a V, it's going to go spiral. Now, since this was 11, you do 11 over the chain 11s. All of the chain section that is in between this and this will stay at 11 from now on. Now that we're at the next stitch, we are going to do V-stitch yet again, which is your double treble. Chain 1, then your double treble again. But now you have it getting bigger, technically, by 2 stitches. So the 13 does exist, but you do have 2 stitches. Technically it's from this point to here, like to the point where you're about to do the double treble for the V-stitch. That's the 13 stitches away from the original. So due to that, you're not really changing the shape too much. You will be having a distance of 2 more than you would have had you not done the addition here and done the addition at the other side, or had you done the addition here but not at the other end. So it basically is going to be very close to the same diameter that it would be otherwise, with, well, same circumference as the other way, but you end up with a width of 2 extra stitches on it. By doing the increase at both ends of the row. So because that's this section, it's not the increase of chain section, it's just a regular chain section. Chain 1. That. Now, open, because you're no longer increasing in the 11 chain sections, only in the ones that now have 1. So from now on, the increases are only in the ones that have the less than 11 chain stitch sections. The 11 chain stitches, that's it. Missed part of the yarn. Into the next stitch to make it a V-stitch. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm going to skip this one, not making it into a V-stitch, as I'm going to show you how to make up for it later. So even though this is smack dab in the middle of the center of the back, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wrap, wrap. Here, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 11. Wrap. Then count up 4. Chain 1 and then do the 4. Like chain 1 and then do the stitch again, and then like into the same stitch, and then we're going to chain 4. That's what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I didn't do this on the other one, I'm doing this on this one just because I want it to be difficult. Okay, so because we have a chain 1 here, that means here we do chain 2. And then, no, we do chain 3. And then we do the regular double treble. And then the chain 11. And then the stitch, double treble, and then chain 3, double treble, chain 11, double treble, and then chain 3, double treble, chain 11, double treble, chain 3, double treble, chain 11, treble. And I don't have the V-stitch here to work out of, so I'm going to make the V-stitch here, except instead of 1, it's going to be 2. Chain 2. The double treble, and then chain 11. Double treble. Chain 3. Double treble. Chain 11. Double treble. Chain 3. Double treble. And then chain 11. Double treble. And 3. Double treble. Chain 11. Treble. Chain 3. Double treble into the 4th stitch. Chain 4. So top of the turning chain, so we have the 1 stitch in between turning chain and the double treble that was from the previous row, so this stitch is skipped. You go into the top one here of the turning chain. Now you are going to chain 4, turn, and since you did 3 last chain section, you're going to do 5. Yes, okay. Just making sure I didn't, like, miscount there. Okay. Double treble. Chain 5. No, chain 11. Double treble because this is a non-changing section. Now we are in the double treble, chain 5 double treble section. So double treble, chain 5. Double treble. Onto another non-changing chain 11 section. Yes. So, chain 5. Double treble. Chain 11. Double treble into previous rows. Double treble. Chain 5. Double treble. And 11. Double treble. And this is the one where you did 2 last time, so you're going to do 4 this time, just to even it out a little bit more so it doesn't pucker too much. If you made the mistake, if you didn't, hey, cool, no problem. So, 4. So, 55. Just seeing how much this adjusted is. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go with the 4. Next time I'm just going to ignore that it's a different count, because it'll have been eased in enough that it won't look too different. And this is a homespun yarn, so it will just look like it's variations in size of the spin. So, variegated yarn in a way, but it is going to be, the ply is very slubby, so there are thick sections, there are thin sections. So thin section versus thick section. So it's going to not always have the same size stitches, even though I'm using the same size hook for the whole thing. So, chain 11. Chain 5. And then another chain 11 section. Another chain 5 section. Another chain 11 section. Chain 5 section. An 11 section. Chain 5 section. Up 4 from the bottom there. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is your 4th chain. So that is the top of the turning chain. This makes it a lot easier to count that when it gets up into higher numbers, I've noticed. So it's like, that was 3, this is 5. So this is going to be a shorter distance when we go up here because this is 7. Let's see, currently we have this really pretty spiderweb lace going on. Yeah, it's getting there. It is. See if I can get this to all be in same time. Okay, so far we are here, which would make a really pretty spiderweb bandana, maybe a snood, little capelet for a little kid. I wouldn't give it to a little kid, but gives you ideas. But yeah, you can pull a little bit on the long edge, and you've got it slightly blocking itself already. So, pretty decent size for 15-ish minutes at most. So, what you do is you continue with the pattern as the fractal goes. So, you keep increasing in the increase sections, which are the areas from the V-stitch out, and keep the ones where at the point it became 11 stitches across, or 13 or 15, 21 if you're using really tiny stitches, really tiny thread, crochet hook, maybe 51? I don't know what size your elbows are, or how giant you want to make this spider web, or what weight yarn you're working with. But yeah, this is just going to expand out as the fractal works its way to becoming even more intense. So when these sections become 11 as well, you can choose to either keep it that way and do the same number of stitches in each section, or yet again branch out with the fractal. So branching out with the fractal makes it much swoopier. Going straight with it will minimize the drooping and swooping out of this potentially flowy thing, yet make it work very well as a cape. I mean, I could have from here stopped the increases and just gone straight, and it would have been a cape that would have been very one specific diameter swoop, no flow to it, just going straight down basically, instead of a shawl. This, with 2 sets, makes a pretty decent size shawl, I would say. So that would be 16 times 2, 32 inches. So you might want to do 3 sections if you're doing a full shawl and want it to have the flowy droopiness that you want. But remember that it's going to grow in length. So right now, this lengthwise is, let me get do not see my measuring tape. Ah, I see it. Okay. Let's center of that up through the center of the eye of that, and just, it's about 20 inches, maybe a little bit more. Like, okay, it can get to like almost 2 feet if it's blocked right now. So if you want that to be the length, don't do really that many increases, I guess. Just focus on getting the spider web out to the center, I guess. But where it is widthwise, let's do this. So if blocking, yeah, it's about 32. So about 32 inches so far. About 24 down when blocked with this particular yarn. So depending on how your stuff blocks out, it could be even more, it could be less. But yeah, it's one of those things where you really just work to taste. Kind of like making food. Deliciousness of food. You keep working till adding stuff, ingredients until to taste, or it's until basically your ancestors say stop. Be it your parental unit who's decided to stop by and was like, what is wrong with you? Stop doing this. Or, you know, your ancestors, the spirits. So, or, let's see, we started here. 1, 3, 5, so we're on to 7. Cool thing is, if you get to a point where you're going to run out of the yarn, or you're at, okay, I like this length, but I want it to be like at this point and be done with it, you can literally just crochet up and weave in your end and be done with. Or you can do what I did, weirdly enough, yet again, on the glow in the dark. So, the end of this. You might not realize it, but the way I ended this was in the middle of a section. Let me see if I can find where I did this. I basically... Stickers, I went in and... Yeah, the stickers are making it really hard to see this. I need to get the stickers to stop. But, let me see, where did I do this? Yes, this is literally the bottom edge. And I'm like, trying to find where. I made this pretty long. Yeah. I pretty much just crocheted off the end here. Because I was going to wear this for Halloween, and I have these spiders that I could attach that are pipe cleaner spiders. I had one attached here. I had a whole bunch of stitch markers acting as the trapped bugs and things in the spiderweb. And since the spiderweb was glowing in the dark, and the spiders, which I have like a family of 5 of the pipe cleaner spiders that I attached, were throughout, and the stitch markers were throughout. It was sections of dark on it, and the stitch markers were shimmery, so you could see where the poor little trapped unicorn and skulls and other things were. And the spiders were basically hanging out. It was fun. Anyway. Yeah, I am going to be doing this one more row on this. And then I'm actually going to have to call it a night because I have to actually wake up and be awake all day tomorrow. Because we might be having a bit of a possible hurricane forming off of the coast of where I live. So, since we've been working on making planters that would potentially be very, useful for growing food, it's going to be a day of taking those apart because they're not fully set up yet, and attempting to get them all stored so that if there is a really bad storm that hits us, we're not dealing with flying debris from our yard into our neighbors' and friends' yards and such. So, yeah. That's probably going to be how the next couple of days go. So, 7. And all of next week looks to be thunderstormy, so that's going to be interesting. So 11. Section. Goodness. Section. Section. 11th section. Section. That's 7th section, and then it's going to be an 11th section after this stitch. Seven. Eleven. 11. 7. 9. Into the 4 out. 'So the next section would be 9, and the one after that would be 11. And then the one after that would be the questioning if I'm done or if I want to continue making it longer and longer and flowier and flowier. That's it can go like a very nice capelet comfortably. So very Spider Queen-esque in the autumnal way. Autumnal variety of Spider Queen. I like this. If I decide to use it as decoration, it's going to be pretty. Especially since I'm going to start having other colors in here again. So it goes into like the blue-greens, and then the next is the brown, and it ends up looking like, I guess, a rose gold. And then it goes back into the greens and blues, and then browns, and then it goes into the reds, and then browns and reds, and from there, it depends on what I have on my on the drop spindle that I still have to ply up, which I'm waiting until this is near the end to ply it, because I'm going to attach it to this and continue the ply for this ball. It's going to be interesting. Anyway, it has been a good hour and 40-ish minutes of crafting, listening to music, chilling out here. Thank you for hanging out. I unfortunately have things I need to do in the morning and throughout the day tomorrow, so I have to call it here pretty much. It is Thursday, which means tonight, basically. So after the chaos of the having to be awake all day doing work, my poor sister, she is going to be playing Stray on her Umbrielle de la Minale channel. So Umbrielle is going to be playing Stray tonight, as it is Thursday night. Friday, hopefully I will have the energy to play The Sims 4. Because that would be great. Having the actual energy to do that. And then Saturday, Umbriella is going to do her working on the little avatars that she has at the bottom of her screen, where she's going to be making those avatars like we've got Dr. Sir here, my Pixy here, Jabberlacky, coder friend there. Hers, she has a plan. They're going to be corvids. So birds. She has a birds theme that she's working on. She's working on different accessories for those birds. And that, yeah, that's her Saturday plan. Sunday, I shall be doing another craft and chill. I am going to be working on another project. I'm unsure if it's going to involve audio recording or music production, or if it's going to do writing or coding. There is way too much that I have currently that I'm working on that I need to get some more progress on. But yeah, I am going to be doing that on Sunday night / Monday morning. Then Monday night, Pal World with Umbriella again. Tuesday night, Umbriella has her art stream. I honestly would like to do the solo Pal World. Pal World got to the point where it was extremely laggy. I have to figure out how to fix that for me. So that is an issue. Also, there's been the situation of me logging into the game, even in the co-op world, having to quickly log out, like get out of the server, because I was underwater, and I knew I had to wait for Umbree's stream and everything to be ready, and yeah. So it's like, I know at least one of the bases that I have I can go to potentially from where I am in the world, and maybe not drown before I can find like a tree to climb up, or, you know, log out, log back in. Hopefully I'm on the ground. Hope I have like enough materials to nerd pull up to the surface. The things I've had to do with the glitches. But in my solo world, I do not have those Dazzy cloud things to get you to the base on time safely, and, you know. So one must do with what one has and have to make it work. Anyway, yeah, thanks for hanging out. It's been a nice over an hour and 45-minute stream. Have an amazing night. Ciao.